So, welcome back. This is the sixth segment of Making Sense for 7 Minutes, a summer-long series where Monday through Friday we are surveying in bite-sized pieces our historical narrative as recorded in the Bible. And, as always, asking the immeasurably relevant question, so what? When God created Adam and Eve, out of his immeasurable love for them, he placed them in a garden which has appropriately been referred to as paradise. An opulent, vast, flourishing landscape in which they were to live and raise their children, who would then in return raise their children generation after generation, learning and growing and thriving. Now, in this paradise, as you may know, Adam and Eve were free to do whatever they wanted to do. Correct? Correct. Adam and Eve were free to do anything they decided to. Now, there was one thing they were told not to do, or there would be consequences. Don't eat the fruit from the tree of knowledge of good and evil, or you will die. Let's slow down here. Never mind the fact that it was the fruit of the tree of knowledge of good and evil. My question is, why was there any restriction at all? Why not tell Adam and Eve, look, you're free to do anything you decide without any thought about any restriction? Well, I have some thoughts. First of all, in order for obedience to have any meaning, there has to be the opportunity for disobedience. God certainly could have said, you are free to do anything you want and don't even give it a thought. What are Adam and Eve going to say? You see, again, for obedience to have any meaning, there has to be the opportunity and the possibility for disobedience. And obedience gave Adam and Eve a means of acknowledging, you're God, we're not. You're the creator, we're the creatures. You're Lord, we're subjects. But deeper than that, by being obedient, they could demonstrate that they trusted him. He told us not to eat that particular fruit or we would die. Not real clear on what this dying is all about, but it sounds like something to be avoided. And we know he loves us, and we can trust him. So we will. And yet, on an even deeper level, obedience would enable Adam and Eve to actively love God by being obedient to him. Here's what I mean by that. Whenever the Bible uses the word love, it is a verb, not a noun. It is something that we do, not a feeling. We're told to love people whether we feel like it or not. You're not required to like them. This is why God can come along and say, love your enemies. You don't have to have an affection for them. It could be that you throw up a little bit in your throat every time they enter the room. Fine. The issue is not how you feel about them, but how you treat them. So, God tells us, if your enemy is hungry, give him something to eat. If he's thirsty, give him something to drink. By the same token, the way that we love God is through our actions, by being obedient to him, no matter how we feel. This is the standard all through the Bible. And in the Gospel of John, in the New Testament, chapters 14 and 15, Jesus, who is God in the flesh, says 6 times in one conversation, if you love me, you'll do what I tell you to do. And one time he flips it and he says, if you don't do what I tell you to do, you don't love me. Now, if Jesus ever says anything once, we ought to pay attention. Every now and then, he'll repeat himself. But this, 6 times, you get the feeling that he must mean it. So, if you're a Christian and you would like to gauge at the end of the day how much you have loved Jesus, then assess how obedient have you been to him. Now, if you come to the end of the day and you're much like me, you'll do that and you'll go, oh, crap. I really don't love Jesus that much. Well, when that's the case, remember, it is not your love for him that keeps you secure in the relationship. It's his love for you. And I'm out of time. Thanks, y'all.